When hiring new employees, it's essential that you conduct reference checks to make sure that the information you have is valid. I'll talk about the key elements of reference checking in this video. Conducting reference checking will validate that the information you've collected through the resumes and the interview process is actually true. However, it's often difficult today to get employers to actually give you references. So how do you go about getting valid references? Not just the references that have been prearranged by the employee. You should actually conduct your interviews with reference checking in mind. In fact, Brad Smart of Top Grading suggests that you ask performance-based questions that will elicit specific details about how the person performed certain functions or crucial functions in their job so that you can validate that with the reference. He also recommends that you let the candidate know throughout the interview process, you remind them that you will be validating the information with their references. A good example of a performance-based question of a salesperson who claims he attended conferences to do prospecting would be describe or give an example of one of the conferences you attended. What was your goal prior to the conference in terms of prospecting, and what was the outcome of it? How many leads did you get? How many of those leads did you turn into prospects? Something of that nature. This forces the candidate to describe in detail what was accomplished. So it shows you not only how conscious they are of setting goals for accomplishment, but also details what were the actual accomplishments. You take note of this, and then you could use that to validate with their references. After the first interview, I determine who are my final candidates, and then I have them take some tests or assessments. Skill-based testing would be relative to the essential skills in the job, perhaps operating a software program, something like that. And I use eSkill for that. I'll put a link to them in the description of this video. This will validate what level of skill somebody has in, let's say, for example, Word or Excel. I also use the Profile XT assessment, which is a total person assessment, and gives me a much better picture of the person. When the person is in an interview, we're only seeing what the person is showing. Of course, the better we are at questioning, the more we can bring out of that person. But generally, there's just a lot we don't see. It's called the Iceberg Effect, where 10% of the iceberg is above the water and 90% is below. So the Profile XT is a total person assessment where it measures their thinking style, their behavioral traits, and their motivational interests. But it also matches them to a performance model which is customized for each company and each position. I tend to base my decision 1/3 on the resume, 1/3 on the interview, and 1/3 on assessments. Once I have my final information, I'll then do the reference checking. Brad Smart suggests having the candidate arrange the interviews. It's often very hard to reach employers today, but if the candidate calls them and arranges for them to receive your call, it's much easier. So what are the questions you ask? This is crucial that you prepare yourself for the reference checking. And again, if you've used performance-based questioning during the interview process, then you'll plan your questions accordingly to validate that information. Here's a few that you can ask. What were the person's main responsibilities when he or she was hired and later? What were the person's strengths and weaknesses? How did the person perform in comparison to his or her colleagues? Why did this person leave your company? And here's one of my favorite. Would you employ this person again? Why? So like anything else, how you conduct the process is crucial to the results you're going to get. Reference checking is crucial for hiring top performers. Ask performance-based questions. Remind the candidate that you will be validating the information provided with their references. Have the candidate set up the meetings for you, and do your research, plan your interviews. Thanks for listening. Leave a comment. and we'll talk again soon. I hope you find these tips useful. Here's some videos that are related that you can watch right now. Subscribe to our channel to get news of new videos as they come out. Thanks for listening, and talk again soon.